Hello everyone! Today, it's finally time to review what might be the last season of Splatoon 3. The Sizzle Season 2024 put a ton of effort in, but today I want to talk about it and see if it really is the best season we've ever gotten. Be sure to subscribe if you enjoy, and let's get into it. So first off, let's talk about the weapon kits. And before we get into the specific kits and new weapons themselves, I want to bring up these graphs. These are the sub and special weapon distributions at the very end of this season. Regardless of if we get more or not, in terms of the first and second kits for every weapon, this is the total distribution, and it's kinda weird. My main issue with this chart is the lower half of stuff. It's really weird that there are some specials in the game that are on only 5 weapons when we're putting specials on 8 weapons. Similarly, it's really weird to get 11 of certain sub-weapons, but only 6 and 7 of a few others. The subs are at least a little bit more understandable when the picks are something like bombs that are just generally going to be safe and consistent picks for most players. But I mean, come on. Even if we are going with that argument, why is Burst Bomb, Fizzy, and Torpedo so low on this list? And in fact, my biggest issue is Fizzy, Torp, and Line Marker. I've talked about this before, but these are the 3 newest subs to the series, and while Fizzy and Torp were in Splatoon 2, they were on notoriously few weapons. So why are they also some of the lowest distributed weapons in the sequel? Really odd that Torp has been in 2 separate Splatoon games and is on a grand total of 10 weapons. So I gotta be honest, the distribution was kind of weird. The kit design this season was really good. It's hard to even complain about anything, honestly. Even some of the weaker kits, like the well strings, are more just about certain specials being undertuned. I think playstyle-wise, they're unique and make sense for the weapon. And in terms of powerful kits, we got plenty of them. Stuff like the Dowsers, Bamboozler, Custom Range Blaster, both the Decapitators, Edit Splatling. There's just a lot of picks here. In fact, I think the only completely whack option in this entire season is Mist on Recyclebrella. That is really the only one I can critique, which feels insane to me. So honestly, I'm a big fan of the kits this season. It's by far better than any other season. In fact, I'd say to compare the kit quality of this season to previous ones, you'd have to merge 2 or 3 other seasons together just to make a comparison. I also think they did a great job with the new main weapons of the Mint Decapitator and Wellstring 5. Obviously, we don't know exactly how good these weapons are right now, but I think in terms of the balance state they're at launch, it is pretty much perfect. Both of them have a lot of potential, unique characteristics, and fun attributes without being too overtuned or undertuned. And that's a really hard thing to do. A lot of people were originally criticizing Mint Decapitator as looking like a brain-dead free top-tier weapon, and well, it isn't that. It's balanced out through qualities like how slow the weapon can be at times with its slashes. I think both of these weapons are going to be relatively easy to balance in the future, were designed very well, and seem to be quite fun. I'm very happy with them. Lemuria Hub was the stage we got, and I mostly talked about this in my stage review, and since my stage reviews have become focused on one stage and not multiple, this section of the review has mostly become kind of redundant. So to give a quick summary, I think the layout is mostly good, it's pretty unique, and I think the moving platforms add to it gimmick-wise, but there are some issues. I think the amount of uninkable walls at the bottom of the map, lackluster top of the stage, and some platform jank in modes like Rainmaker where it can carry the objective further ahead, keep it from being a super good stage. But I think if you're a casual player, it's very enjoyable, and competitive-wise is still a solid stage, particularly in zones and clan blitz. Overall, it's a very unique stage for this game, which is something I think Splatoon 3 needs. For a game that's stereotyped as having a bunch of hallways, having a layout like this is something we kinda needed. Next up is the balance patch, which has a little bit of extra features to it, like not resetting back to S rank if you were top 1000, but for the most part, this is the balance changes and the stage reworks. The stage reworks are the best part about the update. There is a good portion of larger reworks, the stages with smaller changes still feel very impactful, and there is very few maps that got minimal changes, and I think every single stage that got a change was improved. Even the smaller ones like Yiltel Alley feel just a little bit better to play on, and for a game with map design as one of its biggest problems, I think this was something that we absolutely needed to happen. The patch, on the other hand, is okay. I've warmed up to it a little bit since my review. I think I was a little bit harsh on it. What I think is nice is that a lot of the changes they did were kind of nice quality of life-wise. Ink Vac and Bubble being able to paint under them is kind of nice. The Reef Slider paint on the rails is actually kind of cool. Like, you can trap some slower weapons if you set it up properly, which feels like it adds to the special. And for the main weapon changes, I just think that those were long overdue for some buffs, and both of them got some pretty sizable ones. That being said, I think the patch falls flat when it comes to addressing the things at the very top of the leaderboard. Splash Wall was given some nerfs in this patch, and I feel like this should be something where we're trying to target top level play, because Squeezer and 52 are pretty dominant solo weapons, and Squeezer is pretty good in competitive play, both of these being prominent wall weapons, but instead it looks like this is, at my best assumption, trying to help lower levels of play against wall. Maybe they're even more oppressive in low X ranks or below that, I don't know. But regardless, it feels like wall wasn't properly addressed, given what the leaderboards looked like last season. So ultimately, I think pretty much nothing was done to the weapons that actually needed to get nerfed. But the buffs they did were fine, just kind of minimal, which is about on par for the patches that launch when we get content at the same time, so it's there. For Salmon Run, we had the Big Run, which featured all the previous Big Run stages, brand new Grisco Roller, and a new boss fight against all 3 King Salmonids. Having multiple stages in rotation for the first time in a Salmon Run felt awesome. It just kept it from getting stale as fast as it is playing a normal rotation, and it was really fun. I hope one day rotations include more than one map for this mode. Grisco Roller is amazing. The vertical flick is slow but powerful, the horizontal is fast, which gets you into the roll, and my god, the roll is silly. You move so fast. The sound design is really amazing for it, and it's very, very powerful. One of my favorite Grisco weapons to get. I am a big fan of it. I hope if content is extended, we get more of them. Finally, the boss fight is my absolute favorite part of Salmon Run. I think it is a lot of challenge without being too overwhelming. There is a lot that goes on screen, but there is still consistent strategy, and I especially like how you can use the bosses against each other, and that you need to do that in order to effectively beat the boss fight. The idea of turning them against each other just adds a lot more strategy to it, and it's a lot of fun. It feels extremely high stakes, and I just had a great time. Very good event and an amazing way to send off big runs if this is the last one. I'll speedrun real quick the new music, gear, and catalog. For the most part, I don't really mind the new music. There is one section in the trailer part of the song that I think is a little bit overwhelming mid-match, but that might just be a me thing. I think for the most part, it's a good addition. The gear they added is fine, and the catalog is fine. Some of the emotes, like the Squid Sisters ones, was really cool to get, and I really like the poster at the very end of it with one character from all of the different seasons. That's a really cool send-off. There's not a whole lot here in any category, but I think it was still pretty nice. So overall, I don't think the season had that much content, but it's of a lot higher quality. The map is really unique, the kits just absolutely go crazy, the new weapons feel super unique, the big run was super enjoyable, Grisco Roller was one of my favorites, and fighting 3 King Salmonids at the same time was just really cool, and that's not even mentioning stuff like the stage reworks. I just think it's a very tight-knit package. I don't really mind updates like this having less stuff when it feels like everything that was put in them had a lot of effort, care, and thought into it, and that's what I think about this season. Is it the absolute best season? I'm not sure. I think it has some competition, like Sizzle Season 2023 is still one of my personal favorites, but I think it's pretty arguable that it's the best season. And if you're looking at it purely from a competitive standpoint, yeah, there's not really any contest here. They did a great job with it. I really hope we have more updates in store for this game, but if this really is the last major season we're gonna get, at least they ended it off with a bang. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll see you all next time.